but fours and fives, So I go to look, and she gave me a 2 on team player. She gave me a 2 on team player. And I said, Shirley, why did I get a 2 as for team player? She said, and I quote, she said, because you don't participate in the potlucks. Okay, so by this time I'm floored. And I said, what? I said, that's not a reason to give me a 2 because I don't participate in potlucks. I said, what about, I helped to open up additional shifts. I helped with the statements, that project. I also have done obstacle courses for team building exercises and several others. Does that not account for being a team player in a contribution to the team and the department overall? And she said, I'm going to leave it as a 2 because you don't come to the potlucks. And that's it. And so she said, so I need you to sign it. Now, I can be a people pleaser. I could, be self-conscious at this time. But one thing I'm not going to do is let somebody mistreat me. So I said, I'm not going to sign that. She says, well, you have until, I believe it was Friday, and this was in the middle of the afternoon. She said, you have till the end of the day to sign it, or it's going in as it is, and it's going to be on your report with HR. And I said, I'm not signing it because that's not a reason for you to give me a 2, considering that I didn't go to a potluck. I said, I don't think you're asking the right questions of why. She said, it doesn't matter. Okay. So I'm not going to argue. So what I did, I went back to the desk, and she said, you have to the end of the day. You're not going to take the weekend to look at this. And I said, okay. So I went to her director, the big kahuna. Yippers. I missed it back then when there was just like protocol. And I emailed him, and I was very polite, and I introduced myself because I had seen him, so he was familiar with who I was. And fish. Let me check the fish. It's looking so good, you guys. Oh my God, this fish looks so good. Okay, can you see how good that looks? That looks so good! Woo! Okay, so let me finish putting that. Okay. All right. So we're recording. So, anyhow, so she says, I go to email him, and I say, I introduce myself, and I tell him who I am, and I tell him what the issue is. And so my desk sat right across from her office, and she had glass doors. She didn't have a closing door. She had a glass window, huge looking window, and a glass door that just slides and locks. So I said, she did not ask me why I didn't participate in the potluck. And I had to explain to him that I'm Muslim, that I have a dietary restriction, that if I'm exposed to pork, that's against my religion, and it can make me viciously sick. So I don't always participate in potlucks because I don't know what people cook. So he said, okay. No sooner than I sent that email, and I put a read receipt, so I know he read it, her phone rings in her office. And I'm just talking away, talking like, okay. So, okay, this is good. I'm going to stop this here. And I turned off the fire, so I'm going to, this looks so good. I'm going to get the fish ready to break it down so it can be layered. So no sooner than that, he calls her, and I can't hear him on the line, but I could hear her because, again, her office is right across from me. And he says, did you really give her a 2 for not participating in a potluck? And she goes, yeah, I gave her a 2 for not. And so you can kind of put the questions with her answers because she was answering. So he ripped a new one in her. Like, he ripped it so bad that she was red in the face. Like, red in the face. Oh my God, it looks so good. So she was so mad. So as soon as she got off the phone, because he said, fix it. So she calls me in the office and she says, can you please come in the office? I said, absolutely. And she says, what do you want me to put this as? What number do you want? I said, she's like, I said, I want it to be a 4. It should be a 5 with all the stuff that I did. So she puts I don't know if she put a 4 or 5, but it definitely wasn't a 2. And she goes, what else would you like me to put in? I said, the truth. Put everything that I did into my appraisal, in my performance eval, because that is the truth. And so she said, I put whatever you want. And so she did. She put whatever I said, and it was the truth. I put all of the projects that I was on, everything I contributed to the organization, and I had a stellar appraisal after that, and I signed it. So I say this to say, it is very, very challenging, and sometimes it could be a little intimidating. Now, me being older, yeah, it's always a little bit uncomfortable, but I just don't believe in allowing someone to exercise their authority over you because they sign your checks. I like to clean as I go, so I made a little mess here. And so I'm not an advocate for that. I don't think anyone should feel uncomfortable to go to their supervisors, and anybody in leadership who is a good leader is going to take correction, and they're going to be an advocate for improvement to be a better leader. If they're not and they retaliate, then they're jackets. But as I was saying, no. Now, and you should, okay, listen, if you advocate for yourself, come with also your facts. You are supposed to still be respectful to your uplink. You don't come in there kind of crazy. That is not acceptable. But any real person in authority or supervisor that's leading an organization should be open, absolutely open to anything that would make them a better leader and manager. So anyhow, after that, we never really had any problems because she was able to understand. She understood why I was, she understood. Nope, I put the fish in, but I'm gonna do the rice first. So we're gonna start this all over. So I'm gonna put the rice in. But she understood why I wasn't participating. And then also it was a learning opportunity. So she was able to also be able to support me in that area. And then, something went out that we to be mindful of people with dietary restrictions. So that was in and of itself. Now I said I was going to put the rice first. So let me pause it here. And I'm going to come back when this is done so you can see the final result. Okay, y'all, I'm back. Let me tell you, this is such a blessing, cooking with gratitude, because, well, first of all, let me show you the final result. This is what it looks like before I put it in the oven for the cheese to melt. Everything is actually cooked. The fish is cooked, the rice is cooked, everything. Now, I did run a little bit out of the rice, but I always have my hefty big bowl of brown rice. So I seasoned it, sauteed it really good, and I finished it up and topped it off with some olives and some cheese. Now get this. Remember, I was supposed to be making the barbecue shredded chicken burgers. Well, I went to go check on the chicken. The oven is not working. My oven literally just went out. So the baking part, it wasn't on. The broil part, the top of the oven, like the broil, it works. So what I did was I turned it up to broil to heat the oven as hot as I can get it. And then I turned it off. And so I'm going to put this in there so it can melt. And then I'm going to take this to the Id Feast. And this is a prime example of cooking. I can't believe. Of cooking with gratitude. I cannot believe my oven went out. I just called the warranty people, so they're supposed to hopefully repair it or replace it. But I hope you enjoyed my story in this segment about advocating for yourself. I am so grateful I was able to complete this dish for It Feast tonight. I am super grateful. I can't even thank you enough. Thanks for hanging out with me. Let me know your thoughts. Have you ever advocated for yourself? What was the results? What do you think is the best way? Can you give some tips and tricks? Do you think it was right for me to stand up for myself? I know it was a long time. What would you have done? I want to hear from you. Please give me some likes, shares, comments, anything. But in the meantime, in between time, till next time, see you at the top because the bottom is too crowded. Thank you for hanging out.